Hello, in this video, we will introduce the file class. The file class contains the methods for obtaining the properties of a file or a directory, and for renaming and deleting a file or directory. This is the file class in the java.io package. These are the constructors to create a file object. Please note that this file can be a directory. So the name of the class is file, but actually you can have this directory. So to know whether this object is for a directory or file, you can use the method is directory or is file to test it. So this is file returns true if the file object represents a file. Is directory returns true if the file object represents a directory. For example, you may write this is the file, new file. This is the directory. So this is the java.util.file. I think it's io.file. Now, you can look system.out.println. File that is directory. This will return true. It is a directory. So that is true right here. Create another file object. Welcome.java. So let's see this. File 1 is directory. It is false. The file object represents a file or directory. You can use methods to explore the file property. So right here, this exists returns true if the file or directory exists. Can read file can be read and the file can be written. So this is the is absolute. If this is file name, it's absolute or relative. So the absolute is this. If you have the complete name, so look here, you have this complete name. So this file 1 is absolute. That is true. Is absolute. So this is going to be true. And this file 1 is the absolute file name. So that is true. Is hidden. If the file is hidden, so when you go to look at it from the windows and go look at the photo, look at the file is hidden. The absolute path, so look at all this, get path, last modified, and this is the length. That is return the size of the file, the size of the file. Look at this right here. For this F1, you can return the length, that is the size of the file. So the size of file, this is how many bytes, 177 bytes. List files. If it's a directory, you can get all its components, the files and subdirectory, and put it into this array of file objects. Delete, to delete the file. It returns true if the deletion is successful. Rename the file. Create a directory for the file object. You create a directory. You can use this to create a new directory here. So here's a file object. You can use this file.mkdir to create a new directory. So like this, you can create temp1. So please note that you need to have double backslash because backslash is a special character. So this is the file. Now, one thing about this is you have to go to look at this is it is this. You create a directory right here. It's the, you have to, this is different here. Look, this, you have to go back to use it differently right here. So I'm gonna have this temp and temp1. So you're going to write it this way. You're going to create a directory for this. So the file object represents this directory. If the directory does not exist, you can use this to create it. Another method here, directory with S. So what does this mean? What's the difference between this mkdir and mkdirs? mkdir returns true if the directory is created successfully. And this one right here, it is same as mkdir, except that it creates directory along with its parent directories if the parent directories do not exist. So you go back right here, and if you don't have a temp in your file system, you can still create it using mkdirs. This is a test program that uses and most of these methods here. So here you create a file object. So using relative path. So the absolute path, you have everything. You have the, on Windows, you have the directory name. So all this completed paths. So this is relative path. It's where your program's running, and this is files located at the working directory. So does this exist? So you're going to write file.exists to test if the file exists. So this is the method here. Exists. Look, this is exists right here. So here, the file has how many bytes? So use file.length. Can the file read? So this is a file that can read. Can it be written? File that can written is a directory. File that is directory is a file. File that is file. Is it absolute file or directory? file that is absolute is hidden, file that is hidden. So you can get the absolute path using file that get absolute path. Last modified, and this is it returns the elapsed time. So look at this one right here. Last modified returns the time that the file was last modified. This is the time is in the elapsed time since Unix approach. That is January 1st, 1970 at midnight. So you are going to this file that last modified. So you need to get that time. So the time is file last modified here. So here's a sample run on the Windows. And this is a sample run on the Windows, on the Unix system, on the Unix. That is all for this video. See you on the next video. So please note that this is the file class. It only allows you to get the file property. You can rename the file, delete the file, test the file properties, but you cannot use it to read data and write data. So the next video, we're gonna look at using other classes to write data and read data. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.